I had 2 interviews scheduled for Friday morning, both were in North Carolina. It was the chance of a lifetime. I'd been stuck in a dead-end office job in New York for years. Miserable pay, soul-sucking routine. No future. So when I got callbacks from 2 promising companies down south, I didn't even hesitate. I booked both interviews for the same day, back to back. Flights were too expensive, and I didn't want to waste time with delays or layovers. So I decided I'd drive. Straight through. 8.5 hours. Seemed doable. Just caffeine, music, and an open road. It was Thursday night. I got home from work around 6, showered, packed, and grabbed my resume folder. My mom gave me one of those, "please don't crash the car," hugs. I laughed it off. I was too excited. This was my shot. The first hour was fine. Highway traffic thinned out once I left the city. The further I got from the skyline, the more peaceful it felt. Just me, the hum of the engine, and a distant moon overhead. I stopped around 9:30 for gas and bought a large coffee, extra strong. The gas station cashier gave me this strange look. You know that tired, dead-eyed stare people get when they've been up too long? I wondered if that's what I already looked like. Another hour passed. My playlist was hitting. I was wide awake, focused. Then I saw him. A man. Standing on the shoulder of the highway. Just standing. He wasn't hitchhiking. He wasn't waving anyone down. He wasn't moving at all. Just standing perfectly still in the dark. Wearing a suit. It was so out of place that I nearly tapped the brakes. What was he doing out there? There were no cars nearby. No hazards. No wreck. No flashlight. Just a guy in a black suit, white shirt, and tie. And as I passed him, I swear to God, his head turned slowly to follow my car. Like a doll with tracking eyes. I laughed it off. Maybe it was a dummy someone placed there as a prank. Or maybe he had car trouble. Maybe he was drunk. But then, 15 minutes later, I saw another one. Same posture. Same clothes. Same dead stare. This time, I slowed down. Not all the way, just enough to get a better look. He didn't move. But something about him felt wrong. His head didn't seem quite attached. I can't explain it. It was like his neck was too straight. Too rigid. I sped up and left him in the rearview mirror. By midnight, my eyes were stinging. I had to slap my cheeks to stay awake. I blasted the AC. Cracked the window. Still drifting. I thought of pulling over, but I didn't want to be late for the morning interviews. I had to push through. Then I saw him again. At a rest area this time, standing beneath a flickering light post. No one else was around. No cars parked. No workers. Just that same man in the suit, staring up at the light like a moth. I stopped the car and stared at him for a full minute. Same dark suit. Same short cropped hair. Clean shaven. Middle-aged. Like he belonged in a boardroom, not at a midnight rest stop. But then he turned and looked right at me. No expression. No curiosity. Just stillness. I panicked. Drove off. I didn't even go in for coffee. My head was spinning. Was it the same man every time? Or just 3 random men in suits at night? That didn't make sense. It couldn't be a coincidence. I shook it off. Told myself I was just tired. Hallucinating, maybe. Lack of sleep can do that. Another hour passed. I was nearly falling asleep at the wheel. So I pulled into a quiet motel parking lot to catch some rest. Not to check in, just to nap for 30 minutes. I reclined my seat and stared at the roof, trying to calm my nerves. I drifted. And then I woke up gasping. It felt like someone had just whispered in my ear. I looked around the car, nobody. Checked the mirrors. Nobody. I turned and looked at the back seat. Empty. I laughed nervously. Get it together, I whispered to myself. But then I saw it, a movement in the side mirror. I turned. Nothing there. I leaned back again and closed my eyes. Just 5 more minutes, I thought. Then I opened my eyes again. He was sitting in the passenger seat. Same man. Close up now. His skin was gray, pale, like paper. No pupils in his eyes. Just milky white orbs. His hands were folded neatly in his lap, and he was facing straight ahead, not even looking at me. I screamed and flung the door open, falling onto the pavement. I scrambled back and watched in horror, but the passenger seat was empty. I got up slowly, opened every door, checked the trunk, turned every light on. Nothing. That was the moment I broke. I realized I was no longer just tired. I was hallucinating. I couldn't trust my mind. I drove to the hotel and checked in. The guy at the front desk gave me a weird look when I walked in, pale-faced and trembling. I barely got my shoes off before passing out on the bed. My alarm woke me just 2 hours later. It was time for the first interview. I put on my best suit, fixed my tie, splashed water on my face. I looked like hell. But I had no choice. I got to the office. Checked in. I waited in the lobby, heart pounding. Then, the interviewer came out. And my blood turned to ice. It was him. Same face. Same suit. Same emotionless stare. The man from the road. From the gas station. From the rest stop. From the car. He extended a hand. You must be Daniel. I couldn't speak. My mouth went dry. I tried to shake his hand, but my fingers barely moved. I stammered. I froze. Is everything all right? He asked, eyebrows raised. Why, yeah. I'm sorry. Just tired. Long drive. The interview was a blur. I couldn't focus. Every time I looked at his face, my mind screamed. I left the building in a daze. The second interview was in a different part of town. A woman this time, younger, lively, engaging. I did better. Much better. That night, I got an email, a job offer. From her company. I accepted immediately. Weeks passed. I moved to North Carolina. Started the new job. Tried to forget about that awful night. But things didn't get better. Every few nights, I see him again. Standing on the sidewalk across the street. Watching. Sometimes in my hallway mirror. Once, I saw his reflection in my computer screen. Always silent. Always still. I don't know what he is. A ghost? A hallucination? A part of me? But the worst was last week. I came home from work and found a business card on my kitchen table. Black. Minimalist. No name. Just a symbol, a white necktie, and the words, "You were chosen."